We must always take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentors, never the tormented. Sometimes we must interfere. When human lives are endangered, when human dignity is in jeopardy, national borders and sensitivities become irrelevant. Whenever men and women are persecuted because of their race, religion, or political views, that place must, at the moment, become the center of the universe. I have joined the political arena so that the powerful can no longer beat upon people that cannot defend themselves. Nobody knows the system better than me, which is why I alone can fix it. Enlighten the people generally, and tyranny and oppressions of body and mind will vanish like evil spirits at the dawn of day. Knowledge will forever govern ignorance, and the people who mean to be their own governors must arm themselves with the power which knowledge gives. Our government is founded upon the intelligence of the people. I, for one, do not despair of the republic. I have great confidence in the virtue of the great majority of the people, and I cannot fear the result. There are no problems we cannot solve together, and very few that we can solve by ourselves. I will build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me. Believe me, and I'll build them inexpensively. I will build a great wall on our southern border, and I will make Mexico pay for that wall. Mark my words. America was indebted to immigration for her settlement and prosperity. That part of America which had encouraged them most had advanced most rapidly in population, agriculture, and the arts. I noticed words crudely spray-painted upon the wall, perhaps by a young Berliner. This wall will fall. Beliefs become reality. Yes, across Europe, this wall will fall, for it cannot withstand faith. It cannot withstand truth. The wall cannot withstand freedom. Within the soul of America is freedom of mind and spirit in man. Here alone are the open windows through which pours the sunlight of the human spirit. Here alone is human dignity, not a dream, but an accomplishment. Perhaps it is not perfect, but it is more full in realization here than any other place in the world. The final key to the way I promote is bravado. I play to people's fantasies. People may not always think big themselves, but they can get very excited by those who do. That is why a little hyperbole never hurts. People want to believe that something is the biggest, the greatest, and the most spectacular. Rhetoric is a poor substitute for action, and we have trusted only to rhetoric. If we are really to be a great nation, we must not merely talk. We must act big. Abuse of words has been the great instrument of sophistry and chicanery, of party, faction, and division of society. The great enemy of the truth is very often not the lie, deliberate, contrived, and dishonest, but the myth, persistent, persuasive, and unrealistic. The supreme quality for leadership is unquestionably integrity. Without it, no real success is possible, no matter whether it is on a section gang, a football field, in an army, or in an office. Russia, I hope you're listening. I hope you are able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. I think you will probably be rewarded mightily by our oppressed. Timid men prefer the calm of despotism to the tempestuous sea of liberty. The totalitarian world produces backwardness because it does such violence to the spirit, thwarting the human impulse to create, to enjoy, to worship. To avoid entangling alliances has been a maxim of our policy ever since the days of Washington, and its wisdom no one will attempt to dispute. We did not choose to be the guardians of the gate, but there is no one else. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un just stated that the nuclear button is on his desk at all times. Will someone from his depleted and food-starved regime please inform him that I, too, have a nuclear button, but it's a much bigger button and more powerful one than his and my button works. My first wish is to see this plague of mankind, war, banished from the earth. If men can develop weapons that are so terrifying as to make the thought of global war include almost a sentence for suicide, you would think that man's intelligence and his comprehension would include also his ability to find a peaceful solution. No evil can result from its inhibition more pernicious than its toleration. The chains of military despotism, once fastened upon a nation, ages might pass away before they could be shaken off. I'm going to be working for you. I'm not going to have time to play golf. No president who performs his duties faithfully and conscientiously can have any leisure. In avoiding the appearance of evil, I am not sure, but I have sometimes unnecessarily deprived myself and others of innocent enjoyments. By the time you get dressed, drive out there, play 18 holes and come home, you've blown 7 hours. There are better things you can do with your time. The man who can look upon a crisis without being willing to offer himself upon the altar of his country is not fit for public trust. It's an unbelievably complex subject. Nobody knew healthcare could be so complicated. We have done an incredible job. We're going to continue. It's going to disappear. One day, it's like a miracle. It will disappear, and from our shores, it could get worse before it gets better. It could maybe go away. We'll see what happens. Nobody really knows. The fact is, the greatest experts, I've spoken to them all. Nobody really knows. It's not the flu. It's vicious. The health of the people is of supreme importance. All measures looking to their protection against the spread of contagious diseases and to the increase of our sanitary knowledge for such purposes deserve attention of Congress. Of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, the one named war has gone, at least for a while. But famine, pestilence, and death are still charging over the earth. Hunger is a silent visitor who comes like a shadow. He sits beside every anxious mother 3 times a day. He brings not alone suffering and sorrow, but fear and terror. He carries disorder and the paralysis of government, and even its downfall. He is more destructive than armies, not only in human life, but in morals. All the values of the right living melt before his invasions, and every gain of civilization crumbles. When somebody's the president of the United States, the authority is total, and that's how it's got to be. There's nothing more corrupting, nothing more destructive of the noblest and finest feelings of our nature than the exercise of unlimited power. It should be the highest ambition of every American to extend his views beyond himself and to bear in mind that his conduct will not only affect himself, his country, and his immediate posterity, but that its influence may be coextensive with the world and stamp political happiness or misery on ages yet unborn. It is to be regretted that the rich and powerful too often bend the acts of government to their own selfish purposes. This country, with its institutions, belongs to the people who inhabit it. Whenever they shall grow weary of the existing government, they can exercise their constitutional right of amending it, or exercise their revolutionary right to overthrow it. What you're seeing and what you're reading is not what's happening. I would rather the man who presents something for my consideration subject me to a zephyr of truth and a gentle breeze of responsibility rather than blow me down with a curtain of hot wind. Illiteracy must be banished from the land as if we shall attain that high destiny as the foremost of the enlightened nations of the world which, under Providence, we ought to achieve. Let us labor for the security of free thought, free speech, pure morals, unfettered religious sentiments, and equal rights and privileges for all men, irrespective of nationality, color, or religion. Leave the matter of religious teaching to the family altar, the church, and the private school, supported entirely by private contribution. Keep church and state forever separate. Let reverence for the laws be breathed by every American mother to the lisping babe that prattles on her lap. Let it be taught in schools, in seminaries, and in colleges. Let it be written in primers, spelling books, and in almanacs. Let it be preached from the pulpit, proclaimed in legislative halls, and enforced in courts of justice. I can't hear you. Facts are stubborn things, and whatever may be our wishes, our inclinations, or the dictates of our passions, they cannot alter the state of facts and evidence. Despotism can only exist in darkness, and there are too many lights now in the political firmament to permit it to remain anywhere, as it has heretofore done almost everywhere. As long as our government is administered for the good of the people and is regulated by their will, as long as it secures to us the rights of persons and of property, liberty of conscience, and of the press, it will be worth defending. You can never get all the facts from just one newspaper, and unless you have all the facts, you cannot make proper judgments about what is going on. Yeah, no, I don't take responsibility at all. But when the decision is up before you, and on my desk, I have a motto which says, the buck stops here. The decision has to be made. This world of ours must avoid becoming a community of dreadful fear and hate and be, instead, a proud confederation of mutual trust and respect. Remember, always give your best. Never get discouraged. Never be petty. Always remember, others may hate you, but those who hate you don't win unless you hate them, and then you destroy yourself. Nothing can stop the man with the right mental attitude from achieving his goal. Nothing on earth can help the man with the wrong mental attitude. The foolish and wicked practice of profane cursing and swearing is a vice so mean and low that every person of sense and character detests and despises it. I am not fit for this office and never should have been here.